So, what about open relationships having high failure rates? Why would you ever want to be in that kind of relationship? To which I say, I want you to remember this always. A consensus does not make a right. A consensus, what's commonly accepted, doesn't make something ethical or right. Let me ask you a question. Do you have pictures on you right now of traitors? Do you have pictures anywhere in your house of traitors? If you have a dollar bill or a $5 bill or a $10 bill or a $100 bill or a $50 bill, you're holding with you pictures of traitors. You see, if it weren't for these gentlemen who said, fuck this, I've had it with this system, I'd rather the individual be free than the monarch system, so they went across the ocean and created something called America, where they presumed individuals have rights. In fact, the government should be much smaller than the individual. The individual is a priority here. You and I have freedoms, have rights. And so they created something called America. And these people were branded as traitors. A consensus does not make a right. So they say, the statistics are, first marriages, 50% of them end in divorce, and second marriages, 70% of them end in divorce. And by the way, all of marriage end in death. Well, those are the statistics, and you think about that and you say, why would I want to be in that kind of relationship? And so someone argues, well, an open relationship has a super high failure rate. To which I say, of the people that practice open relationships, very, very small sliver of them actually practice open relationship. A lot of the study that they say that people practice open relationship are people that are in polyamorous relationships, not necessarily open ones. They're people that have extra partners, maybe one more partner. So it's a closed relationship. A monogamous relationship would be a closed relationship of two people inside of a closed relationship. They add one more, so 3 people in a closed relationship, or 4 or 5 or however many. A polygamous relationship. Several people married to each other in a closed relationship, which multiplies the problems of a monogamous one. So those studies, they presume are open relationships, but people in actual open relationships are very small. And of that small sample size of people practicing open relationships, very small still of that little sliver, a sliver of a sliver of a little sliver of that sample size are people practicing open relationships with good, sound fundamentals in place in the relationships. So what I would say is that your sample size of people practicing any kind of open relationships from which you get your high failure rate is too small to be significant. Too small to say this open relationships blanket has a high failure rate. So what about the happiness factor? Well, here's what I would say to you. 50% of first marriages end in divorce, 70% of second marriages end in divorce in monogamous relationships. And what I presume is a dangerous form of relationship. Why? It's because it facilitates jealousy. It facilitates ownership of a human being. It facilitates the idea, incorporating it in relationship between people, their idea, property. You are my property, and I am your property. And therefore, you are sexually exclusive to me, just like a property, just like my ownership. Therefore, I can be possessive. I am entitled. It's titled to me that I can be possessive of you, and it's entitled to you that you can be possessive of me. You should be jealous. And so this is incredibly dangerous. In fact, it's so dangerous. Here's why. At some point, I don't know which year it was, but they said that 85% of murders were caused by jealousy. Now, whether it's actually 75% or even 90%, around that area is incredibly dangerous, and a monogamous relationship facilitates that. And by the way, what are some good sound fundamentals for having a relationship well practiced? Well, these are some good basic ones. Unconditional love. You're wanting for your beloved's happiness intrinsic to your own. Non-judgmental acceptance, accepting the person for who they are, as they are, and encouraging to be that person. And number three, open communication, your ability to facilitate in the relationship, each person's being able to communicate whatever they like because there's no need to hide secrets. By the way, those can only be facilitated in an open relationship. No closed relationship can facilitate that because by its very nature, it's closed. It facilitates the dangerous thing called jealousy. So, would you want, not necessarily being in an open relationship, but would you want a relationship founded on those things? Or would you want a closed relationship with a 50% divorce rate and 70% second marriage divorce rate? So, think about that when you think about the high failure rates that they say, or what's a failure rate and what's a success rate. You can't really tell that in relationships with people. There's so many factors involved. And I want you to think about something. A consensus does not make a right. Just because it's commonly accepted, commonly held as true, it's convention, this is what people are supposed to do. It's because everybody says it's the right thing to do. It doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. People who said, fuck this system of monarchy, traveled across the land and said, I want to start something where the individual has rights. Freedom is the thesis that we're going to build our government system upon. These people were traitors. They were the minority. They were outside, completely outside of the convention, completely outside of what's consensus, what people agreed upon was the right thing, was supposed to do. If that helped, leave a comment below, share your thoughts and your input, and I'd love to know them. Share this video with other people. You'll make the world a better place for all of us. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.